How did one sentence about my ex end with a stranger handing me papers in a crowded lobby? Why did my husband stay silent for weeks, then answer me with rules that started the same day? I thought he would beg for love. Instead, he made a clean exit and let the law speak. My name is Undine Spragg, but everyone calls me Dina because Undine sounds like a mistake on a form. I was 33, and I worked as a project coordinator in an open-plan office where people liked to pretend they were a family. At home, I was a wife and a mother, and I said I carried the whole mood of the house on my shoulders. I still think that was true. Ethan was my husband. He was 35. He inspected buildings for the city, so he lived inside checklists and rules. He liked clean lines and calm days. He liked to fix small things that nobody thanked him for. I used to say that made him steady. Later, I started saying it made him boring. That change felt like growth to me, not cruelty. That morning, the kitchen smelled like toast and dish soap. The kids were loud in the living room, and cartoons played too bright. Ethan stood by the counter and cut fruit into neat pieces. He asked if I slept okay. I said I was fine. He asked why I sounded tired. I said he always asked the same questions. I watched his face tighten and then relax again, like he was swallowing words. I should say I felt trapped. That is what I told myself. I said marriage can become a room with no windows if the other person stops seeing you. Ethan did see me, but not the way I wanted. He saw bills, school forms, and dinner plans. He saw the messy parts. I wanted to be seen like a prize again. I wanted heat. I wanted proof that I could still pull attention from the air. He asked if something was wrong between us. I said nothing was wrong, and he was making problems. I told him he should stop acting like a victim. I said I did not have time for drama. The funny part was that I loved drama as long as I controlled it. Ethan glanced at his phone. I noticed a small reminder on his screen, something like downtown 10:40 a.m. He turned it face down fast. It should have made me curious, but I told myself it was work. Ethan had a lot of work. I was the one who needed more life, more color, more something. When the kids ran in, Lily asked if Daddy could take her to school. Ethan said yes. Noah asked for a snack, and Ethan gave him a banana. I watched the way Ethan moved around the kids. He was soft with them. He was careful. It made it harder to paint him as a bad man, so I focused on what he did not do. He did not flirt. He did not chase. He did not look at me like I was new. I picked at my coffee and said I missed how things used to be. Ethan asked what I meant. I said he knew what I meant. He asked if I was unhappy. I said he was the reason I could not be happy. I said he was always safe, like safety was an insult. After school drop-off, I drove to the office with my jaw tight. I practiced my story in my head. I told myself I was brave for saying hard truths. I told myself Ethan needed a wake-up call. I said, respect follows results. And I had results. I managed the house. I handled the kids' schedules. I kept my job. What did he do besides come home and go quiet? At work, Cassidy was already at her desk, tapping her nails like she was in a show. She asked how my morning went. I said Ethan was cold again. She asked if he was still punishing me with silence. I said yes. I did not tell her I started it. I did not tell her I had been saying small, sharp things for weeks, testing what would make Ethan break. In the break area, 2 co-workers listened with fake concern. One of them asked if Ethan helped with the kids. I said he helped in a way that made me feel like a robot partner, not a woman. I said I needed romance, and he gave me reminders. I made it sound like he did nothing. That was not true, but it was useful. I looked at my phone and saw a message from my sister Paige. She asked if I was coming to Mom's this weekend. I said yes, and added a crying face like life was heavy. Paige replied that Ethan should be grateful I stayed. I liked that. It felt like support. It felt like a crowd gathering behind me. During lunch, I walked past the glass meeting rooms and saw my reflection. I fixed my hair and practiced a smile. I told myself I deserved to feel wanted. I said I was young and still had time. Then I corrected myself and said 33 was still young if you lived it right. After work, I went to the gym. I told Ethan I needed to reset my head. He did not argue. He just said, okay, and he asked what time I would be home. I hated that question because it sounded normal. I wanted him to say he missed me. I wanted him to say he could not handle life without me. He did not. At the gym lobby, the air smelled like rubber mats and clean towels. A man near the water station waved like we already knew each other. Mason Riley. I had met him once at a vendor visit at my office. He was 34 and had that easy tone that felt like a compliment, even when he said nothing special. He said it was good to see me. I said it was good to see him too. He asked if I was still at the same job. I said yes, and that it was a lot lately. He asked if I looked tired because of work. I said work and life. He nodded like he understood. That little nod felt like more care than Ethan had given me all week, even though it was just a nod. Mason asked if I wanted a coffee after my workout. I said maybe another day, but I smiled like the door was open. He said he liked my smile. I said he was smooth. I could hear my own voice getting softer. I told myself it was harmless. I said it was just attention. I said attention is not cheating. When I got home, the kids were in pajamas. Ethan had washed the dishes. The counters were clean. A folder sat near the edge of the table with a label that said utilities. It looked ordinary, but it bothered me. It looked like order. It looked like he could live without me. Ethan asked if the gym helped. I said it helped more than talking to him. He asked why I was being cruel. I said I was being honest. He asked if I was comparing him to someone. I said he was imagining things. In the hallway, as he folded towels, I let my voice turn flat. I told him I remembered what real chemistry felt like. He asked who I meant. I said my ex, Trevor, and I said it like a fact, not a weapon. Ethan stared at the towel in his hands like it suddenly weighed too much. He asked if I still thought about Trevor. I said everyone thinks about their past. He asked if I loved him. I said love is not the same as feeling. He asked what he did wrong. I said he stopped being a man I could admire. I watched Ethan's face go still. He did not shout. He did not slam anything. He just put the towels down, slow and neat. He asked if I realized what I was saying. I said yes, and I said it was better to speak the truth than to live a lie. Then I said the line that had been growing in me like a dare. I told him I felt nothing compared to my ex. Ethan did not answer at all. He rinsed his mug, set it in the sink, and walked out the front door without saying a word. The door closed behind Ethan, and the house felt too quiet for 1 second. Then Noah asked for water, and Lily wanted her tablet charger, and life went back to normal. I told myself Ethan was doing a performance. I said he wanted me to chase him. I said he always needed control, even with silence. He came back later, after the kids were asleep. He did not mention my words. He did not ask for a talk. He walked past me like I was a lamp left on in the corner. I asked where he went. He said he took a drive. I asked why he did not answer me. He said he heard me. That was it. The next morning he made breakfast again. He placed 2 mugs on opposite sides of the counter, like a line between us. He asked if the kids had homework due. I said yes. He asked what time Lily's pickup was. I said he already knew. He did not argue. He just wrote something in his phone and put it away. I watched him when he thought I was not watching. He checked a folder labeled bank and slid it into a drawer. The drawer made a small click when it closed. I told myself he was hiding money. I told myself that proved he was the villain. It helped me breathe. At the office, I told Cassidy Ethan had stormed out like a child. I said he could not handle honesty. Cassidy asked what I said. I said I told him I missed passion, and he got dramatic. I did not use Trevor's name. I did not say I compared them. I kept my story clean. In the break room, people listened like they were eating popcorn. One coworker asked if Ethan yelled. I said he did not yell, but his silence was worse. I said silence is emotional control. I said he wanted me small. That was not true, but it sounded smart. Cassidy said I should stop apologizing for wanting more. I said I was not apologizing. I said I was finally choosing myself. I repeated those lines until I almost believed them. At lunch, I called my mom, Sharon. She asked if Ethan was still acting cold. I said yes. She said men hate when women grow. She said I should not let him shame me. I liked how she made it about me being strong, not me being cruel. Paige texted me and asked what happened. I told her Ethan was punishing me for speaking the truth. Paige asked if I talked about Trevor again. I said no and added a laughing emoji. I hated that she guessed so fast. It meant I was obvious. After work, Cassidy wanted to go out. She said I needed to be seen having fun. She said if Ethan thought he could scare me with silence, he was wrong. I said okay. I told Ethan I had a work thing. He asked what time I would be home. I said late. He said okay, and did not ask more questions. That made me angry, like he was not even trying to catch me. The rooftop bar was loud and bright. People took photos of their drinks like it mattered. Cassidy leaned close and asked if I wanted to post something. I said I did not care. She said that was a lie. She said my story needed proof. I took a selfie in the bathroom mirror. I fixed the angle until my eyes looked sharp and my smile looked careless. Cassidy suggested a caption about new beginnings. I wrote something about choosing peace. It was a lie, but it looked pretty. Sharon liked it within minutes and wrote that she was proud of me. I felt the warm rush of being backed up. Cassidy asked if Ethan would see it. I said of course. She asked if I wanted him jealous. I said no, I just wanted him to wake up. That was also a lie. I wanted him jealous because jealousy feels like love when you are empty. When I left the bar, my phone buzzed with a message from Mason. He said he hoped my night was good. I told myself he noticed me because I had value. I told myself Ethan stopped noticing because Ethan was lazy. Mason asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, just dealing with a hard marriage moment. Mason said I deserved more than a hard moment. I did not correct him. 2 days later, I saw Mason in the parking garage near my office. He asked if I wanted coffee. I said I only had a few minutes. He said he liked how direct I was. I said Ethan hated my honesty. Mason said a good man would not hate it. I let that sentence sit in my chest like a prize. When I got home that evening, Ethan was helping Lily with spelling words. Lily looked up and asked if Mum was mad at Dad. Ethan said nobody was mad, they were just tired. I stepped in and said Dad was being sensitive lately. Ethan looked at me, then back at Lily's paper. He did not correct me. That scared me more than a fight. Later, after the kids went to bed, I walked past the hallway and heard a soft beep from Ethan's phone. It sounded like an app starting. Then it stopped. I paused and my skin prickled. I asked what that was. Ethan said it was nothing and asked if I locked the back door. I said yes. He nodded and went to the guest room again. The next morning was school pickup day for Ethan. I went too, because I wanted to look like a united family. In the pickup line, parents talked in small groups. Maribel, the staff woman, waved at us and asked if we had the right car tag. Ethan said yes and thanked her. He sounded calm and polite. I made a joke to another mom about how Ethan was so serious. I said he lived like a rule book. The mom smiled tight. Lily was standing near us, holding her backpack strap. She asked in a clear voice if Daddy had no spark like Trevor. A few heads turned. Ethan's face did not change, but his eyes went hard for a second, like a door closing inside him. I laughed too loud and told Lily she was being silly. I said she heard a story wrong. Ethan said Lily should not say names like that. I said he was overreacting and embarrassing me in public. He did not answer. He just buckled the kids in the car and drove us home in silence. The ride home from school was quiet. I kept telling myself Ethan was the one making it weird. I said he could have laughed it off. I said he could have acted normal. He drove like a person following a map, eyes forward, hands steady. Lily watched the road, then watched him like she was learning how to read adults. At home, Ethan told Lily to wash her hands. He told Noah to put his shoes away. He moved through tasks like they were steps in a safe plan. I tried to pull him back into emotion. I asked if he was going to ignore what our daughter said. He said Lily repeated things she heard. I said she heard truth. He looked at me for a second and then looked away, like my face was not a place to rest anymore. That night, I texted Paige and told her Lily said something funny in the pickup line. Paige asked what it was. I said Lily mentioned Trevor. Paige sent a long message about kids not being jokes. She asked why Lily even knew that name. I told her kids hear things and repeat them. I said Ethan should be the adult and not act wounded. Paige did not answer for a while, and that gap felt like judgment. Cassidy called me and asked if Ethan finally snapped. I said he did not snap, which was the problem. Cassidy said silence is a tactic. I agreed fast, because it gave me a reason to stay angry. Cassidy suggested we should do dinner with family soon, so Ethan would see I had support. I liked that. I liked the idea of a long table and eyes on him. A few days later, we had dinner at a family restaurant, the kind with big booths and bright menus, where people stay too long. Sharon came first, with Paige behind her. Sharon hugged me and asked if Ethan was being difficult. I said yes, and I sighed like a tired hero. Paige hugged the kids and looked at Ethan. Ethan nodded at her and said hello. He looked normal. That bothered me. Ethan's parents came too. Ruth kissed the kids and asked how school was. Grant shook Ethan's hand like it was a business meeting. Everyone sat at the long table and the kids got crayons. I could feel a stage forming, and I stepped into it without thinking. Sharon asked Ethan how work was. Ethan said it was busy and he was behind on reports. Sharon asked if he helped enough at home. Ethan said he did what he could. Sharon looked at me and raised her eyebrows, like she already knew the answer. I felt power in that small look. When the food came, Cassidy's voice played in my head, even though she was not there. I wanted a moment. I wanted Ethan to react so everyone would see he was the problem. I tapped my glass with a spoon and said I wanted to make a toast. Ethan looked up and I saw a small warning in his eyes. It was not anger. It was like a sign that said, "Do not." I did it anyway. I said marriage is hard, and sometimes one person grows faster than the other. I said some people get comfortable and stop trying. I said I believed in honesty, even when it hurt. People smiled in that uneasy way, because they knew what I was doing, but they did not want to stop it. Sharon nodded like I was brave. Paige's mouth tightened. Ruth put her napkin down slowly. Ethan did not lift his glass. He kept his hands on the table. He asked, calm and low, what I was trying to do. I said I was trying to be real. He asked if this was the right place for it. I said it was fine, and he was too sensitive again. I said he always wanted to control when I spoke. Ruth asked me to stop. She said the kids were listening. I said the kids were coloring and not paying attention. Lily looked up right then and watched me. I felt a pinch in my stomach, but I pushed past it. I said children should see strong women speak truth. That sounded good in my head. On the way out, Paige walked beside me. She asked why I kept poking Ethan in public. I said, Ethan deserved it for freezing me out. Paige said I started the freeze. I said she did not know everything. Paige said she knew enough. I told her she was judging me because she liked Ethan more. Paige did not answer. That night, after the kids were asleep, Mason sent me a message. He asked how my day went. I said it was heavy. He said he wished he could take me away from all that stress. I told myself it was not my fault that his words felt like oxygen. I told myself I was not doing anything wrong by talking. I said Ethan forced me into it by making me feel small. A day later, Ethan and I went to the supermarket with the kids. I insisted on coming because I wanted to look like a normal couple again. I did not want rumors in the neighborhood. In the cereal aisle, Ethan reached for a plain box. the kind the kids actually ate. I reached for the expensive one with bright packaging, because it looked like a better life. I said he always picked the cheap option. He said it was not cheap, it was practical. At the checkout, I raised my voice a little. I said he acted like money was more important than me. Ethan kept his tone flat. He said we had bills and plans. I said he had no joy. The cashier glanced at us. A woman behind us stared at the candy rack like she was trying not to listen. I liked that they were listening. It made me feel like I was winning. Ethan paid, then asked for the receipt. He folded it carefully and put it in his wallet, not in his pocket. That small detail sat in my mind. It looked like a habit. It looked like he was collecting small proofs of normal life. At home, later that week, I woke up at night and heard a soft hum from downstairs. It sounded like a machine working. I walked to the stairwell and listened. The hum stopped. Then I smelled something like warm paper, like toner or dust. I called Ethan's name. He answered from the guest room and asked what I needed. I said I heard something. He said it was nothing and asked if the kids were okay. I went back to bed and stared at the ceiling. I told myself he was trying to scare me. I told myself he was planning something petty. I said he could not handle being second place, so he was creating a secret plan. The thought should have worried me, but part of me felt proud. If he was planning, it meant he cared. That is what I told myself. The next morning, I saw Ethan carrying a small stack of papers to the office corner. He did not face me. He slid them into a folder and closed it. I could not read the label. He put the folder away like it was nothing. When he shut the drawer, I heard that same small click again. It sounded like a lock, or it sounded like a choice being made. The next Saturday, I took the kids to the playground, like I was proving something. I told myself a good mother shows up in daylight. I told myself Ethan could not say I was failing if the kids had clean shoes and snacks in my bag. Ethan came too, but he stayed a few steps back, near the fence. He did not sit next to me. He watched Noah climb, and he scanned the area like he was doing his job. It made me feel like he was judging me. I said it out loud because I wanted a reaction. I asked why he stared like that. He said he was watching the kids. I said he watched the kids like they were a report. He asked if I wanted him to stop caring. I said I wanted him to care about me too. He said he cared, but he would not fight. I told him fighting was the only thing that showed real feeling. He said that was not true. Lily came over with sand on her knees. She asked why Daddy slept in the other room. I said Daddy needed space because he was upset. Lily asked if Daddy was upset because Mommy said he was not like Trevor. I felt my throat tighten. Ethan's head turned fast. He asked Lily where she heard that. Lily said she heard Mommy say it at home, and also at the restaurant. I smiled too hard and told Lily she should not repeat private words. Ethan said some words should never be said around kids. I said he was trying to make me look like a monster. He said he was trying to keep the kids safe from adult pain. I told myself he was acting holy. I told myself he wanted to punish me by making me look bad in front of our own child. On the walk back to the car, Ethan asked if we could agree not to talk about our marriage in front of Lily. I said he was the one making it big. He said Lily was not stupid. I said Lily was a kid and kids forget. Ethan said kids do not forget tone. That sentence stayed with me, and I hated it because it sounded true. Later that day, I went to the bank. I did not tell Ethan. I told myself I needed to check something. Really, I wanted to feel in control again. I wanted to see numbers and prove Ethan could not trap me with money. In the ATM area, I tried to pull cash for a small weekend plan. The screen flashed and then refused. My card declined. It was not a huge thing, but it hit my pride like a slap. I tried again, declined again. People stood behind me, pretending not to watch. My face burned. I called Ethan right there. I asked why my card did not work. He said he did not know. I said he knew. He asked what the screen said. I said it declined. He said there could be many reasons. I said the reason was him. He asked me to calm down. I said he loved that word because it made me sound crazy. Ethan said we could talk at home. I said no, I wanted the answer now. He said he was with Noah in the living room and could not argue. I said he always hid behind the kids. He said he was not hiding. He was being a parent. When I got home, Ethan was in the kitchen with a laptop open. A spreadsheet was on the screen, rows and columns like a silent wall. I could not see the title. He clicked away when I entered, but not fast enough. I saw a neat list of dates and amounts. I felt a sharp fear, and I turned it into anger. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing bills and expenses. I said he was locking me out. He said he was not locking me out. He was making sure things were clear. I said clear for who? He said clear for the kids and for the house. I said I was the house too. He looked at me and did not blink. He said the house was not a person. I told Sharon about the card decline. Sharon said Ethan was trying to control me. She said men do that when they know they are losing their grip. She told me to protect myself. Her voice made me feel brave again, like I was in a movie where the main character always wins. Paige came over later to drop off a sweater Lily forgot at her place. I told Paige about the bank. Paige asked if we were in trouble. I said no. Ethan was being petty. Paige asked if I had been spending more lately. I said she was switching sides. Paige said she was asking a real question. I told her she always played the nice one, but she loved judging me. Paige looked at the kids, then at me, and she got quiet. That night, I noticed Ethan's phone alarm go off at 7:15 a.m., even though it was not morning. It was set and labeled paper drop. I asked what that meant. Ethan said it was a reminder for work. I said it sounded like paperwork, not work. Ethan said his job was paperwork too. He said I knew that. I said I did not know him anymore. Later, when he left his laptop open by accident, I saw browser tabs. One looked like Notary near me, another looked like delivery tracking. My stomach flipped. I could not see the details, but the words were enough. I told myself he was planning something dramatic. I told myself he was trying to scare me into apologizing. I decided I would not apologize. I decided he did not deserve it. I said in my head that Ethan made me say the truth because he stopped being worth lies. At work the next week, I stayed late. I told Ethan there was a project emergency. He said okay and asked if I needed him to pick up Lily. I said yes. He did not complain. That made me feel small in a new way, because it looked like he could do my role without me. Mason was still at the office after hours, waiting on a vendor call. He asked why I stayed late. I said work was chaos. He said I looked stressed. I said home was worse. He asked if my husband was still being cold. I said yes, and that I felt alone. Mason said he hated that for me. He said a woman like me should not feel alone. I told myself those words were not dangerous. I told myself they were medicine. I said I needed someone to remind me I mattered. When I got home, the kids were asleep. Ethan sat at the table with a mug and his phone. He did not look up right away. When he did, his face was calm, but it was also closed. He asked if work was really that busy. I said yes. He asked if I wanted to show him the project notes. I said he did not trust me. He said trust was built, not demanded. I said he was acting like a lawyer. He said he was acting like a father. I went upstairs and shut the bedroom door. I lay in the dark and listened to the house. I expected him to follow me and push for a talk. He did not. I heard a quiet click downstairs again, like a drawer locking, like a decision sealing itself. I told myself he was the problem, but in the silence, I also felt something else. It was not guilt, not exactly. It was the uneasy sense that Ethan was no longer playing my game, and that scared me more than any yelling ever could. I decided the best way to win was to look like I was already free. I started going to the gym earlier, even on days I did not want to move. I told myself it was health, but it was really a message. I wanted Ethan to see a version of me that did not need him. I wanted him to panic. I wanted him to chase. In the gym lobby, I took a quick photo in the mirror, careful with the angle. I posted it with a caption about new energy. I did not mention my husband, but I knew people would read it that way. Cassidy reacted first, like always. She said I looked reborn. My mum reacted next and wrote that I was strong. Those comments felt like armor. Ethan did see it. He did not like it. He did not comment. At dinner, he asked if the kids could have less phone time and more quiet time. I said he was changing the topic because he could not handle my glow-up. He asked what glow-up meant for our family. I said it meant I was finally choosing myself. He nodded once, slow, like he was filing the sentence away. At work, the rumors around my desk were getting louder. I had fed them, and now they felt like a storm I could not fully control. People asked if Ethan and I were separating. I said we were working through things. I let my voice sound sad and brave at the same time. Mason kept texting. He asked if I was okay. I said I was tired. He said he wished he could make me smile. I let that sit. I did not shut it down. I told myself it was harmless because it was words. But I also knew I saved his messages because they made me feel chosen. I hated that Ethan's messages were mostly about school events and groceries. That week, my manager sent me a meeting request with HR. The subject line was plain, like it could be anything. My stomach dropped anyway. Cassidy asked what it was. I said it was probably just a routine check. Cassidy said HR never does routine. She told me to keep my story simple and strong. In the HR room, the chairs were too close and the air felt dry. The HR rep asked if everything was okay at home, because they noticed I seemed stressed. I said I was stressed because my husband was controlling. The HR rep asked what I meant by controlling. I said he watched my schedule and asked questions. I said he used silence as punishment. I did not say I had been lying about my time. I did not say I had been meeting Mason. I framed Ethan as a man who wanted to trap me. The HR rep asked if Ethan worked here or had contact with my workplace. I said no, but he still tried to interfere with my focus. The HR rep asked if I felt unsafe. I said no, not unsafe, just pressured. I said he always wanted receipts for everything, like I was on trial. As I said it, I realized how close it sounded to the truth. I pushed that thought away. After the meeting, I texted Cassidy that HR understood. Cassidy sent back clapping emojis. She said I was protecting myself. I repeated that to myself as I walked back to my desk. When I got home, Ethan was at the kitchen table with the kids' school calendars spread out. He had colored markers and sticky notes. Lily was pointing to a day and asking about a class trip. Ethan said he would handle the permission form. Noah was pushing toy cars along the table edge. The scene looked normal, almost gentle, and it made my chest tight with anger because it did not match the villain I had been selling. I asked Ethan if he had called my office. He looked up and asked why he would call my office. I said he had been messing with my life. He said he had not contacted my job at all. I said he was lying. He said he did not need to lie because he did not need to persuade me. That line felt like a slap. I tried another angle. I said he was turning everyone against me. He asked who. I said his mother, his father, even Paige. He said he had not asked anyone to pick sides. He said people chose their own boundaries when they saw how things were. I told him he was poisoning them. He said he was not responsible for other adults seeing clearly. I noticed his laptop was open beside a stack of folders. I saw a simple file tree on the screen for 1 second before he tilted it away. It had names like Archive A and Archive B. He did not hide it like a guilty person. He hid it like a careful person. That difference scared me. On the counter near the fruit bowl, I saw a USB drive with a small label. It was just a date in black ink. I pretended I did not see it, but my mind grabbed it and would not let go. I told myself he was collecting dirt on me. I told myself it was unfair. I did not ask what it was because I was afraid of the answer. I went upstairs and called my mom. I told her Ethan was acting like he was preparing something. Sharon said that meant he knew he was wrong. She said I should get ahead of the story. She said I should tell people Ethan was unstable. I liked how easy that sounded. I liked how it took guilt off my shoulders and put it on his. The next day, Ruth asked if she could take the kids for lunch. She did not invite me. She said it would be easier for everyone. I asked if she thought I was a bad mother. She said no. She said she thought I was making bad choices. I told her she was being dramatic. She said she was being clear. That night, I decided I would force Ethan into a reaction. I waited until the kids were in bed and then stood in the kitchen like I owned the room. I told Ethan I would not live in a marriage where I felt nothing. I said I needed excitement. I said Trevor gave me that kind of feeling once, and Ethan never did. I said it like a challenge. Ethan did not raise his voice. He did not insult me. He did not call me names. He asked if I was trying to hurt him on purpose. I said I was trying to make him understand. He asked if I wanted to stay married. I said I wanted a husband who made me feel alive. He stood there for a moment, quiet, and I watched his face change in a small way. It was not rage. It was distance settling in, like a door locking from the inside. He looked past me toward the hallway where the kids slept. He asked if we could keep our voices down. I said he always used the kids as a shield. He said the kids were not a shield. They were the point. I stepped closer and asked if he was going to fight for me or not. Ethan looked at me and spoke slowly, like he was choosing words he could stand behind later. He said he would not fight in circles. He said he would not beg for someone who compared him to a ghost. He said he would not argue to entertain an audience. Then he said he would handle it properly, and he walked to the kids' rooms and closed their doors with a steady hand. I went to the courthouse lobby because Ethan texted that we needed to sort the kids' schedule and that it had to be done in person. He did not use emojis. He did not add soft words. I told myself he was trying to scare me with a public scene, and I told myself I could handle it. The lobby smelled like floor cleaner and winter coats. People sat on hard benches, holding folders like shields. I saw Ethan near a pillar, calm and still. He wore the same plain jacket he wore to school pickup. Next to him stood a woman with a neutral face and a badge on a lanyard. I felt my chest rise, fast, like my body knew something before my mind did. I walked up and asked why we were here. Ethan said we were here to make things official. I laughed and said he was being dramatic. He did not answer that. He looked at the woman and nodded once. The woman stepped forward and said she needed to confirm my name. I gave it because people were watching and I did not want to look confused. She handed me a packet and said I had been served. She said the papers were for divorce and temporary orders. My fingers went cold around the edges of the pages. I told Ethan this was cruel. I said he was humiliating me. Ethan said nothing to defend himself. He only asked if I understood that the orders started today. I said he could not control me with paper. He said it was not control, it was structure. I flipped pages with shaking hands. I saw words about parenting time, school pickups, and a rule about not taking the kids out of town without written agreement. I saw a temporary plan for bills and accounts. I saw my own behavior turned into dates and facts, not feelings. Behind me, I heard a familiar voice ask if everything was okay. I turned and saw Maribel from the school line holding a file, her eyes wide. My face burned because I knew she would remember this more than any smile I ever forced at pickup. I looked up at Ethan and asked if he had been planning this the whole time. He said he was handling it properly. He asked if I would follow the schedule for Lily and Noah starting tonight, and he pointed to the line that listed the first exchange time. I stared at that line until the words blurred.